Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Monday, Tuesday, whenever you're listening to us. Thank you for joining us. This is our final review episode of the season, where we're going to look back at the heartbreaking season finale down in South Wales. We'll try and keep it as positive as we can. I can't promise anything. Benjamin is with us. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello.
And so is Michael.
Hello.
The first thing we are going to talk about is not Rotherham United related. We have been talking. Sorry, thanks for interrupting me, Ben.
Sorry. Sorry.
Some things never change. We've been telling you for past months we're going to go through some changes, and here is the change. We from now on will now be known as New York Talk, the Rotherham United podcast. So from now on, you'll see us on Twitter, Facebook, Apple, blah, blah, blah. It will say New York Talk. We've got big changes coming up for the new season, more people involved, mixed on a website. So if you fancy going on newyorktalk.co.uk, there's some stuff over there that you can have a look at. We'll try and get some match reports and loads of different stuff that will be going on the website throughout the summer, as well as we'll try and keep some episodes coming through to you through the summer as well, again, as best we can. Mick, anything to add?
No.
Oh.
The website's up and running, it's live. However, there's not a great deal on it at the moment, but it'll, as you've said, we'll start to populate it with some bits and pieces. And we will be looking for content for it, obviously. So if anybody's up for that, you know where we are. The email address is on the website. Get in touch with us. As I say, we will be looking for content for it, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody wants to do get in contact, but don't be offended if we say, look, we can't have 100 people doing content for us, for example. But yeah, do get in touch if you think you can contribute anything to it. We would always appreciate content and feedback and anything else. There is
a shop on there as well where we'll be trying to put some bits and pieces on there. There's some T-shirts and stuff, and that'll be changing as and when. When we get some more ideas, so that's on there as well.
Yes. Ben, you excited for the name change and everything? You excited, mate?
Very, very. Even though I knew it was coming, I'm still very excited.
Fair enough. Cool. So yeah, you'll see the branding everywhere else, especially on YouTube. You'll already see it on there, and through the socials, you shall also see it. So that's the positive part of this episode out of the way, really. It's all downhill from here. So we are Rotherham United relegated. The yo-yo is now on the downward part of its journey as we go back to League One after a season in the Championship. Marlon Pack's 88th minute equaliser was a dagger through the heart of all Rotherham fans. Ben, we're just over 24 hours, 36 hours probably from when it ended. How were you feeling about it?
That's a very good question. I've got very mixed emotions. To be honest, yesterday I was just glad to be warm because I had training all morning and I felt like I was going to die. So I'm very glad I was warm. Didn't come home to a good surprise though. Oh, I did. I came home to a very good, nice surprise. I've been 1-0 up, but obviously, yeah, I don't need to say anymore. Listen, I'm positive, man. I mean, I've tried to look at it from every angle. We still one of the best well-run clubs in the country, probably top 3 in my opinion. I know it's biased. I'm happy, mate. I seen Paul Ward's. I watched it in bits, small bits. His press conference, bless him. But yeah, I mean, what I would say is it's good on Sky for cutting it off when he started to break down and didn't show him as a broken man, which I appreciated. But yeah, I'm positive, man. We'll go straight back up next season, regardless of who goes, in my opinion.
Okay. We'll talk about that later on, who goes, maybe not this episode, but I think it's a good conversation to have. I don't know about you, mate, we'll talk about the game in a minute, but it took me all day to sort of build up the courage to watch the Paul Warne interview, because I don't think I could have watched it at 3 o'clock and not just sort of broke down with him. I found it a real difficult watch and an emotional watch, because of how emotional he was about it, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense. I haven't watched it all yet. I'm going to give myself a few days. I've watched a couple of bits of snippets of it, but I've not watched it all. I don't know. It's so difficult, isn't it? It's so difficult because, he feels like we do, but 10 times worse, probably. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've not watched it, and I've got so much admiration for him. I can't tell you, you know what I mean, because of just everything that he does is just. It's almost as though everything he does is to please us, which essentially, I guess, is his job, really. Ultimately, you know what I mean? Well, it is. And to see somebody. This sounds ridiculous, but I think you know I think you probably get where I'm coming from. To see somebody so emotionally invested and so desperately disappointed that he hasn't been able to achieve something that would make me happy. It's heartbreaking. It really is. And I know it's not just about making me happy or you happy, but that's how it feels. That's how it feels, and that's how he comes across. That's how he presents himself, and I don't know. It's tough. It's really, really tough. I've supported this club for 50 years, and I've never ever, even with Ronnie. I mean, Ronnie's such a legend at our club, such a legend, and maybe it's just different personalities. I don't know. I never got that feeling that Ronnie was quite so invested emotionally as Paul Warne is. He probably is, and I might be doing Ronnie a big disservice there. It might just be that he doesn't portray that, you know what I mean, outwardly. I'm sure inwardly he does, but it's the fact that Warne, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and we don't have to think about how he's feeling. We don't have to. Does he mean this? Does he mean that? We don't have to, because it's there, written in big, flashing neon letters. So yeah. I feel for him massively. I really do.
Yeah. There's been a few questions on Twitter sort of saying, is that the right way for a manager to be in terms of getting so emotional and so attached to it? I think it's very important, and I'm going to use a Paul Warne word, and I think it's an important word. It's about emotional intelligence, and it talks about that a lot. Yeah. And for me, what that means is, number one, get emotionally invested. But if you are going to get upset, if you are going to get emotional about it, there is a time and a place to do it. Do you know when's a good time to let your emotions run free? It's when it's finished. Does that sort of make sense? If you broke down in tears in December after a 1-0 loss, then I think there would be a question of mental strength in there. But he's held it in, and I think that's why he's broke down so much, because he's had to hold all that emotion in throughout the last. It's not even just last 10 months, is it? You know what I mean? It's been an incredible, tough couple of years for everybody at the football club, including Paul Warne. He just carries himself with class. Ben, go on.
I was going to say, you see him when we scored, he didn't celebrate.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they just need to know. And you see it all the time when people see that World Cup and Champions League, and not so much in England, but like, people just break down crying when they win, because it's like you said, they hold everything in for that last moment, and that's why people play sport, man. That's why people love it. Like you said, it's emotional intelligence. He's kept mentally strong. You can see that when we conceded, it's not. You see that with the video of him closing his eyes.
That Brentford one.
Excuse me, but he's got to show some.
Oh yeah.
I completely agree. I think he's handled this situation very well. I think it's down to the players why we went down, in my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and blame everybody, but I don't think it's down to him. Personally, I think he's done everything he can.
Yeah, but I think and he will be the first to admit this. There are areas that he will know he could have done better in.
He'll take full blame for it. That's what makes him such a good manager. That's what makes him such a good football manager, because him will come out and say it's all his fault, which is why he's such a good football manager.
So. Yeah, it is.
I've seen some of those comments that you talked about there, Matt, about the fact that being so emotionally invested doesn't allow you to make rational decisions and everything else. And this term emotional intelligence is something that I really dislike. I hate the term, and I don't like the term because it's a HR, a human resources stick to beat people with, you know what I mean? It's one of their buzzwords. So I dislike it for that very reason. But I do understand what it means. And he's got it in buckets. And if you've got that, and if you're able to control your emotions and deal with your emotions the way that he does, it doesn't stop you making those difficult decisions. He's made difficult decisions throughout this season by not playing players when they're on form, when they should be on form. But all those decisions that he's made in terms of team selection, he will always be disappointing and annoying or upsetting somebody. But he's able to do that and get on with it. So I don't think it's affected him in terms of his decision making. We're in 2021 now, and a lot of people of my age and similar have to understand that the manly way of dealing with stuff, i.e. burying your head in sand and hoping it all goes away, is not the way to deal with it. We're all people, loads and loads of people of my age, we go through life, you just bottle it up. Don't show your emotions, and all of a sudden it pops one way or another, whether it be physically or mentally, and either your mental health or your physical health suffer.
Pop of the littlest things as well, of a
absolutely,
breaking a pen or something. That's
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's never going to happen to Paul Warne and people like Paul Warne. It's never going to happen because he deals with his emotions, and he deals with them openly. And it's gone, you know what I mean? I'm sure he'll still be disappointed, he'll still be upset, but that pent up anger and frustration and upset is he hasn't got the same amount of it as some of us have got because he's let it go. And he's able to do that. And it takes a big man, to stand in front of television cameras and allow your emotions to be seen like that. That is a proper man right there.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. This is I guess I was stupid quite well, but hats off to the reporter who was asking the questions as well, because a lot of reporters would have potentially, some of the big ones would have pounced on it, and tried to dig it a little bit. The guy who asked the questions was brilliant about it. Yeah. He clearly somebody who's worked with Warney before, knows Warney, and just let it happen. Let Warney say what he needed to say. Even asked if you were okay. You know what I mean? So it was just a good job all around for me anyway. But we'll come back onto Paul Warne later on. We'll circle round.
Yeah.
The afternoon itself, Mick, one of the most, probably excluding Wembley's, it was one of the most stressful afternoons watching Rotherham United I can remember.
Yeah. That 88th minute goal was always there. It was always there, sitting on your shoulder, weren't it? Yeah. Poking you inside the head, saying, I'm here at any moment. And the fact that it waited until 88th minute to show its head, to rear its head, was just felt even more unjust. There's been a lot of this season, and the reasons why we've been relegated. We've talked about it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again in other podcasts over the close season. There are reasons on the pitch why we are where we are, but there are also reasons off the pitch that have contributed massively to why we are where we are, and that just feels unjust. It feels unjust in the circumstances. It feels unjust in the circumstances of the team that stayed up. When you put it in the context of that as well, it feels unjust in some of the decisions that have gone against us on the pitch, which just beg a belief at times. The whole package. I'm not blaming any one of those individual things, but I will also not blame the fact that we've not taken our chances in isolation. There's been a lot of this season where it's just so difficult. It's just been so difficult to take. And I suppose conceding in the last 2 minutes of normal time, I suppose that were written in stars really when you look back at the season, weren't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bring on some few stats, which I think sum up our season two. There's two particular stats which are interesting for me. The first one is our attacking. We've talked about chances taken, and you'll not be surprised to know that we've only ever scored fewer goals than this season and stayed up once in our entire history, and that was in 1958-59 season. And ironically, to give you an idea of how bad it was, that season was our second lowest points total ever, but we still stayed up. So that's where the problem is. We haven't scored enough goals.
Can I just jump in? I think I've seen somewhere that Rooney said if we go off expected goals, we'll do 11th.
Something like that. Yeah, we'd have won yesterday on expected goals. We'd have won again yesterday. The IFC tweeted something. It was something like 1.8 to 0.8 against Cardiff.
I don't know where your
goals was higher.
I don't know where you're going to go on to, but for me, it's so nice to know the fact that we went down because we didn't take our chances. If we played well all season and didn't create chances and went down, I would be extremely worried. But we played well. We had a good season. Yeah. Attackingly, you know what I mean? That I say offensively. We were good at attack. Apart from the finishing bit, we just let us mental lapse for goals. But listen, I'm not going to sit in with the games we had and who we've got at the back. Woody's knocking on. It's not easy to play that many games and keep 100% focus. So
yeah, well, on the attacking side, the irony is, mate, that last season we had the second best attacking record in League One, and then we've gone to this season in the Championship, and at times we can't. You can't have Barn Door, can we?
No.
It's so frustrating. And there's only a handful of really clear opportunities. We're talking the Freddie chance against Barnes. There are some glaring missed chances, but it's not like we've missed glaring chances every single week. It's just we haven't taken the sort of half chances that we get given that in the Championship we've got to take.
Yeah, you said that, but there has been some absolute tap-ins that had we taken, we would still be a Championship club. So yeah, I would say. I mean, some people will suggest, well, you might be decent at putting bowling back at net in League One, but not in Championship because Championship defences are better. Well, I don't agree with that necessarily. Some are, but the bulk aren't. The difference is minimal. The difference is minimal, and I would argue that had we been in League One this season and played the way that we've played, with the set of circumstances and games and everything else that we've had, I would argue that we would probably still be in a very similar position.
What? Not gone up?
I don't think we'd have gone up, no. I don't think we would have done.
Plan circumstances, no, I probably agree. One very bright positive, and I was surprised when I read this one. Our defensive record this season has been the joint second best defensive record at this level ever. The only time we ever had a better defensive record in the second tier was in the 81-82 season. It's easy to lose sight of. I know we've got relegated, Mick, but to have that good a defence of our history, I know we're not an established second tier club, but we spent a lot of seasons in second tier, and a lot of seasons where we didn't get relegated.
Yeah,
but that's a fantastic sign. That's a fantastic stepping board for next season, where we've got this thing at the back where we actually can defend quite well against some Championship strikers. Are fantastic strikers, and we've still kept a reasonable defensive record up.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is progress. It is progress, but it's slow, incremental progress. The counter argument to that will be, well, Warney's had 4 years. He should have done it by now. Well, that's just not how life works, is it? It might work on FIFA. It might work in Football Manager. In real world, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Unless you've got some Saudi Arabian sheikh who's actually got money to put it into your club. You know what I mean? And we know where that leads. We know exactly where that leads. So we are getting better. We are improving. We will continue to improve while ever we've got the regime in place at Rotherham United. I'm absolutely convinced of that. It might be marginal gains every season, but it will be gains nevertheless. And while ever we're making those marginal gains, lots and lots of other clubs are making massive losses. Derby County, Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton Wanderers, Sunderland, Wigan, and the list goes on. You know what I mean?
Wigan nearly went down.
Well, yeah.
1 point.
The list will get bigger. The list will get bigger. So, we're in the right place. We're absolutely in the right place. Disappointing as yesterday was.
Yeah. But that's a good sign, Ben. And that's the reason I said defensively is there's a reasonable chance that at least 4 out of our standard back 5 will be here next season. Wes Harding will probably be here. Richard will definitely be here. There's a good chance Angus MacDonald will be here. And for me, there's a reasonable chance Icky will still be here. So we've got that base to jump off. And Johansson will almost, he will be there as well. From a good defensive season, we've got that we can move forward into League One as a good starting point. Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned that stat. Looking back, I think this is one of the worst defensive performances I've seen this season. Like, performance-wise. You know what I mean, though? That's such a good positive because you take away the mental lapses that we've had, right? We concede, I don't even know how many, 10 goals all season, probably? Like, it was this stupid schoolboy errors, and that's so promising to say that we've had such a good defensive record and such a poor season defensively, mental, mistake-wise. Not like, we're just awful defensively. Like this silly mistakes, little mistakes that you can fix easily. So listen, I think a lot of that's down to Woody, personally. Not the mistakes bit, I think the good defensive bit, like you saw yesterday.
100%.
I mean, I think as long as he's in that team, our defence is sound, sweet and sound. Yeah. I love Woody. So much.
Anyway, it's 20 minutes in. Let's talk about the game and then we'll come back to all this. 1-0 up inside, I can't remember what it is now, inside 50. I've heard my memory of that.
10 minutes, 8 minutes, I think, wasn't it?
8 minutes in, yeah. Lewis Spring's been teasing us with a stunner since he came, Mick. Yeah. And he delivered, didn't he? What a beautiful goal.
What a strike. What a wonderful strike. And there was a camera angle that you saw where the contact he made with the ball, it was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And at that moment, we're just absolutely on cloud 9, aren't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely on cloud 9. So, what a strike. What a strike.
Yeah, and there's chances, Ben. Let's just concentrate on the game, but there's chances. The second half chance where Lewis Wing had another chance in the first half where Crooks had a chance. These were good chances to bury Cardiff because on the day, they're a top half team, but on the day, they were not very good.
No. I mean, story of our season, in so many ways. Wing should have scored 2, Cook should have scored. McDonald had a good chance from that corner. I mean, we scored them chances with playoffs comfortably. I bet my house on it. We're comfortably in the playoffs. We scored them chances, not my house. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you don't own a house?
Mum and Dad's house. You know what I mean, though. Listen, we scored them chances, we went playoffs, so it's what it is. Story of the season, to be honest.
Yeah, and the goal we conceded, Ben, is a little bit is a bit of a story of the season as well. We cleared it okay, just not quite far enough, and it sort of missed it. I mean, he didn't hit it as sweet as he wanted to, did he?
No, he didn't. He didn't. No, and we didn't close that ball down, did we? Quickly enough. We got to a stage where our legs were really tired, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing. Disappointed that Mick McCarthy decided he's going to send his centre halves up for the last 5 minutes at game. You know what I mean? In the context of it, but I'm not going to argue that point. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it, and we didn't. So, what's the point? What's the point now?
Well, substitutions, Ben. Again, that was something that people found that stick to sort of beat Warney with a little bit yesterday. I've seen complaints about the tactics and everything like that.
Oh God!
For me, tactics were absolutely spot on. We were the better team, more dominant team. Up until after they scored the goal, we couldn't get back hold of the ball. But up until then, we were the team in the game. I can't see anybody that can complain about how we set up yesterday.
Listen, unless that's Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho complaining about his tactics, they can all sit down because they're not football managers. They know nothing about tactics. We think we know about tactics, not a clue. I bet you any money We have not a clue. All right, so it's just embarrassing. You're not a football manager. Shut up. Like you don't. You can have an opinion. You can have an opinion, right? But do not criticise a professional football manager for his tactics.
I think you can criticise him because I think
No,
Paul. Again, we've talked this. Paul was the first one to say that he has made mistakes, but for me, it was clear that those tactics were the right tactics because they worked.
Yeah, in hindsight, yeah. After game, yeah. Everyone's an armchair manager after the game and know what happened. Listen, going into the tactics were right. Can't blame him for tactics. We just didn't take our chances. I don't get this. People just try and jump on a bandwagon. The sheep, aren't they? This new generation of keyboard warriors that just try and jump on everything. Little sheep. Just sheep.
Sheep.
Yeah, come on, let's be real.
Wake up, sheeple.
You know what I mean.
Again, tactic substitutions for me were basically spot on. You can argue a substitution made 10 minutes later or earlier, but you can argue that in every single game that's ever been. The substitution is rarely made at the perfect time. But for the most part, it sounds stupid because we're due the game, but Warney did everything right for me yesterday.
Listen, we conceded a goal in 88 minutes, right? Okay, so and he's not made a substitution up to that point. I don't think. I think he brought Lindsay on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Flo Jones, I think.
Yeah. So let's say he makes that change on 85 minutes, and we concede on 88 minutes. We're criticised. We're criticised because we've made a substitution and conceded a goal. So we don't make those changes. We concede a goal. We're criticised then because we've not made the changes before. Like Ben says, I would be definitely. I can tell you now. I could be an England manager and I could win England the World Cup if I had that full degree in hindsight that all these people that are banging on about tactics and banging on about substitutions had, right? But I'd also be a multimillionaire because I'd be able to win lottery every week and all. Now, I'm sorry, they make the decisions based on what they see, what they know about the players, what they know about the opposition, the absolute in-depth to the nth degree analysis that they make on players, that they make on the opposition, that they make on the state of the game as the game's going on, that they make on what substitutes we've got, what they're capable of doing and everything else. They see the massive bigger picture. All we see is, we lost. We made some substitutions and they didn't work. Must be wrong. I'm all for people expressing an opinion, and I agree. We have argued many times on this podcast throughout the season that I don't really see why he did that. I don't know why he did that. That was a mistake. But all those criticisms are hindsight, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're absolutely hindsight because he makes a substitution. Freddie comes on and scores a 40-yard screamer to win us the game 2-1. Where's the criticism then? Because it's still the same substitutions at the same time. See, Ben's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. You can't talk about it with hindsight because it's just not fair. It doesn't make it a level playing field, does it?
No. But again, that's how Paul Warne learns. That's how Richard Barker learns. That's how they learn with hindsight, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. And they'll put it into practice later on.
Yeah.
But we won't, will we? Me, you and Ben could sit here and say, he shouldn't have brought Jamie Lindsay on. He should have brought Freddie on, and we won't learn anything from that.
No.
Other than next time he brings Freddie on instead of Jamie Lindsay, we'll be able to moan about the fact he didn't bring Jamie Lindsay on instead. You know what I mean? It's just, listen, we're all frustrated, we're all annoyed, and I wish he brought Messi on. But we ain't got him, have we?
No. It shows how good a job we did, Ben, because Cardiff brought off their big sluggers. Kiefer Moore had no impact, brought off quite early. Harry Wilson, one of the highest paid players in the Championship. All right, he's had a hit him this season, but on his day, he is Premier League quality. But we just shut him down, and they were bringing on players trying to they were having to do something to try and change the game, which is a massive compliment to the way we played.
Listen, it's all positives. I do see where the negatives come from. There's so many positives. I said Kiefer Moore got shut down. I put that down to Woody. In my
Yeah.
opinion, Woody probably knows. his
Although,
number.
what I will say is Angus MacDonald at times man-marked him.
Yeah.
And at game, Angus MacDonald was sensational yesterday.
Yes,
Well,
he was.
that's what it is, because Woody will, of course, they'll go into this game thinking, I'm going to plan for Woody because he's going to mark me all game. And they'll put him on McDonald and they'll been stuck all game because you don't know what to do against because they've been watching him. You know what I mean? And that's what Woody brings to you about that the defence. And they said defence and they were making. But yeah, listen, we are good enough for this division. No one can tell me otherwise. No one can tell me otherwise. After seeing what I saw yesterday, Saturday, all season, we've been doing that to teams all season except one or two. And if we take our chances, we win playoffs. Facts. If we take our chances like Cardiff do, we win playoffs. So I've got no problem with performance overall. Going straight back up.
Oh, you're right.
Well, we'll see about that.
It's like I said, Mick. It's fine margins. You look, we actually finished second bottom, and technically by rights, take away Sheffield Wednesday's point deduction, we actually finished bottom. That's not a fair reflection of the season, is it? No, it's just not.
It's not. But you can argue that you played 46 games, so it is. Yeah, whatever. It makes no difference, does it? We've gone down, and now we've got to look forward. We're over the disappointment, or once we're over the disappointment of conceding an 88th minute equaliser to send us down, once we're over that disappointment, the only thing we can do now is look forward to next season.
Having said that, would you like to go back to the start of the season, look at our predictions?
Nah, I don't think there's any point, really, is there?
Well, I remember what Mick said. I think everyone who listened to this podcast knows what Mick said.
We did a group of predictions, which I think are interesting to go right now. A bit of fun before we finish the season. So we had 5 categories. We predicted what position we would finish, who the top scorer would be, who the top assists would be, who the player of the season was going to be, and who was going to be the surprise player or sort of breakout star of the season. I haven't researched who the top assist is, but I'll do that while we're talking. Mick, would you like to tell me where you predicted we would finish?
Second bottom.
Incorrect.
Yeah, well, you see, my prediction were based on the fact that we'd take some of the chances that we had, and had we taken those chances, we would have finished in the position that I said we were going to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I was wrong. 6th. That was just a stupid.
That was hilarious.
Very stupid. Ben, can you remember what you went, or do you want me to just tell you?
15th, didn't I? 18th, 15th.
You said 17th. And I win by virtue of saying 18th. Top scorer, Mick, you went for Crooks. Me and Ben both went for Freddie. Nobody's winning that one.
No.
Top assists for the season. This one.
Who was it? Who was the scorer?
Smithy.
Smith.
Yeah, 10. Top assists of the season. This one didn't go very well either, to be honest with you, because Mick went for Crooks, who was actually a very good one. That was a good shout. Ben, do you remember who you went for?
No.
Sadly.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went for Chio. Which again, it wouldn't have been a bad one. If he'd have played more minutes, I think Chio would have...
do his meniscus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ben, you win that one because Freddie had 3 assists. He didn't get the most. The most was a joint win for Barley's and Harding, according to Transfer Market, ended up with 4 assists each. So they win that one. Player of the season, me and Michael went for Icky, and Benjamin, you went for Matt or Sunday.
I mean, if we stop it at Christmas, then I win.
I'd say stop it in February. If you stopped it in February, I think you'd have won that one.
Well, if we stop it at Christmas, we're staying up.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably would,
yeah.
Yeah. Should have stopped at Christmas, aren't we? Just.
Yeah, I know. We should do that next year.
Yeah. I don't think Icky wins Player of the Season. Mick, does he?
No, I don't think so. I think that's an episode in and of itself, isn't it?
Yes, we will do an end of show awards in a week or two when everything's a bit less. I don't know what the word is. Hurtful. And the final category of the year, Ben, you had a stinker on this one and all. So this was surprise player of the year, or I couldn't think of a better word for it. Anyway, Ben, you went Mikael Miller. That didn't work out.
Wow. Wow.
That may work out next year. Hopefully, they'll come back and be a good player, but it didn't work out for this season at all, unfortunately.
Wow.
Ben, Mick, sorry, you went for Ben Wiles, which was an okay shout, but you had an okay season.
I think I'd probably right.
I'm going to award myself the point because I put Wes Harding, so I'm going to award myself the points on that one.
Yeah, without doubt.
I suppose.
No question.
Do you suppose?
No question.
Ben Wiles was good as well, but Harding was good.
I think Wes Harding's potentially the player of the season, so he definitely wins the surprise.
Mikael Miller were class when he played, so I think I should take that one.
Okay, I mean you're not. He played 9 times, mate. You're not having a surprise back of the season for 9 appearances.
No, I mean Ben.
Do
No,
I
I
count
mean,
his season alone on?
He also didn't score any goals, or I think he had 2 assists for Northampton in the second half of the season.
I think we should move on.
You're not winning that one either, buddy.
Yeah, I think we should move on.
Yes.
Yeah,
we'll put a full episode on this, but looking ahead to next season, Mick, just our 5 minutes on it now. It's going to be interesting because there are going to be changes.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll put this later on, but there are probably 4 or 5 players, maybe not that many, that have probably earned their chance at a second season, at least a second season, the Championship.
Really?
At least a chance at it. Well, for me, Matt Crooks deserves at least another chance in a slightly better team. You could argue Icky, although he's not had the best season. He's been okay. Smith definitely deserves another chance because he's been fantastic. If he had a better team around him who chipped in more goals, he would look a better player.
Mm-hmm.
Giles, towards the end of the season, I know we were on loan, but Giles will get another championship move because he ended the season fantastic.
Yeah.
Marlo Sunday, by the sounds of it, will leave anyway. Has he at least another chance at the championship?
I was just to say that, no. Listen, there's 3 people. There's 3 people that deserve a shot in the championship, and that's Smith because of his work ethic, Wing, and Crooks. No one else. In my opinion, I don't think anyone else was good enough this season. Would he? Genuinely, I think Woody deserves it. Listen, I don't want him to. He won't. Yeah. I know he won't.
No, he won't, no.
But I don't see, if we're going on this season performance, Woody. Like, why does Clark Robertson and Marlo Sunday think they can when Woody has died for this club and done everything he can? He's 35 and he's still 35, 36 and he's playing 4 games a week. Like, it's not good for your body at that age.
No, but it still pops up at left wing though, doesn't he, every so often? You know what I mean?
Exactly, this is what I mean, man. I don't get these people who think they have egos. Crooks and Smith deserves because of what he's 100%. Done off the field and what he's done improvement. Crooks is a good player, Wing without a doubt. Right? Anyone else, I mean, you're gonna have to show something else. If you have to prove it to me some other way. If you like, this season wasn't good enough.
You've got a couple of others. Jamie Lindsay was unlucky with injury. Before the injury, he was an outstanding championship midfielder, but he wasn't quite the same player when he came back, were he, Mick?
No,
that's partially what's cost us, to put it harshly.
Yeah, it's another contributing factor into it. For me, it's a question. For me, this is a question purely of finance for the club.
Yeah.
What can we get for who? And take it from there. You know, if we start getting some offers in, and the reasonable offers, proper offers, then we look to cash in. If the offers are not there or the offers are not right, we don't cash in. We're in a strong position in that sense, I think, probably.
Very.
So we'll just have to wait and see. We might not lose anybody. We might lose 5 or 6. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's far too early at this stage for us to be speculating about it. I'm sure that the talk will be there within the club, and you know that will be probably known, or there'll certainly be some information within the club. But as far as we're concerned, you know, it would only ever be speculation, wouldn't it? But I suspect, like I say, it's going to be a financial decision ultimately. If we can get a couple of million out of selling a couple of players, happy days.
Yeah, absolutely. And one player that is I don't know about you guys. I'm very excited for next season. Is Josh Coyote will be coming back. This was one of the things. If we stayed in the Championship, I'm not sure what would have happened to him. He may have gone back out onto the League One, and I don't want to heap too much pressure on him, Ben. But we've got a good player who's coming through the youth system, who's had a very good year at Carlisle, hampered a little bit by injury, but he's gone away. He's gone and done the hard yards and played the men's game. He's not sat around at youth team like a lot of people do in Premier League. He's gone and put the hard yards in, had a good season, and he's probably earned his chance in League One.
Yeah, especially if Smith goes. 8 goals, I think he scored, wasn't it? Sorry, someone playing in my background. 8 goals.
8 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah. Sorry, there were bongos going on in my background. Yeah, 8 goals, 3 assists. He deserves it. Especially if Smudge goes. It's going to be him and Freddie fighting for it. I think we'll go 4-4-2. Especially if Crooks goes. We'll go 4-4-2. What do you mean?
I think got to go 3-5-2. For me, you've got to go 3-5-2.
Oh, yeah.
Based on
3-5-2.
The way Woody plays in a 3-5-2, Woody has to play in that formation. And I think the reason is, and if we'd played 3-5-2 last match, I think we'd have been better off. The reason we lost or drew so many games at home in the League One last time was Woody got isolated far too often against their fast guy. How many times has he been isolated this season, Woody? But barely ever.
No,
this system 3-5-2 suits him much better for me.
Yeah, I meant 3-5-2. I did mean 3-5-2. But I don't know who we're going to play wing backs. But I think we'll go 3-5-2. I think Coyote and Freddie.
You think Freddie will stay?
I don't see why. I don't.
I suspect that Freddie might be one that gets another chance at Championship because he scored 9 goals this season. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Let's wait and see. Like I said, there'll be some more discussions about this at some stage throughout the summer.
He scored 9 goals. Right, his sole purpose in the team is to score goals. Smith scored 10, and that is not his purpose. His purpose is to provide for others.
Yeah,
you're not a great salesman, Ben. You're not a great salesman.
No.
I'm not trying to sell him. He doesn't deserve it. I don't.
He's not played as much.
Yeah,
nowhere near as much.
Why is that?
And
he wasn't good enough.
But when he has played, he's looked very dangerous for the most part, and he's scored important goals at important time. And what is impressive is he scores different types of goals. He can score tap-in, which he hasn't done this season. He scored the couple of goals against Bournemouth, which were both excellent finishes. The Wednesday goal and the Watford goal speak for themselves. Mick says you're a bad salesman. I think to sell Freddie to somebody would be very easy because you'll say, look at this guy can do. You know what I mean? Just look at these goals he's scored, and you could get some running stats that probably might make him look good as well. He's got his strengths, Freddie, and I've got a lot of time for Freddie. If he stays with us next season, I'm very happy because he'll score goals in league. He'll probably get 20 plus goals in League One. But at the same time, if we can sneak some £1 million to somebody, Derby were interested, weren't they, in January? So if we can get a few million quid off somebody, that's fantastic for Freddie because he progresses his career to a bigger club, hopefully a bigger club, and then we get a few million quid to spend on somebody else. So I wouldn't begrudge Freddie a move at all.
If he goes to Derby, I want money up front.
Absolutely.
I won't be. Yeah. I won't be against him going. I'm just saying I don't think he deserves it. He's got his weaknesses as well. Looking at his history, probably he's going to go. But yeah, if we can get a couple million quid out of him.
According to Transfer Market, just to give you an idea of how important he has been, he's been involved in 22% of our goals this season, according to Transfer Market. So that's the type of player that somebody could be buying if they wanted to.
Listen, I think
all hypotheticals.
I think I don't. The way I see the game played is not the way he plays the game. But that's football, isn't it? So if we can get a couple of million quid out of him, I'm happy.
Yes, I agree. We're going to do a full season review in the next couple of weeks, where we're going to sort of go back and watch most of the games, and I will do a proper season review during that time. Mate, I'm glad this season's over, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
for a number of reasons, but it's just not been the same. I can't wait to get back in and get rid of this no crowd nonsense. It's just crap.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, absolutely. And I want to get back in ground. I can't wait to get back in ground. Please get me back in ground. That's all that matters now to us. That really is all that matters to us, isn't it? Let's just be there. Let's be there. And put this season behind us. 100%
I agree.
behind us.
Ben, I assume you're on the same boat. Just get us back into New York.
100%, 1000%, yes.
Yeah. Back to League One, and let's sort of we've got some thank yous to in a minute, but at the end of the day, mate, League One's not the end of the world. You play some different teams. We're going to play Cheltenham. You look at the playoffs in League Two. There's some interesting teams to come up from League Two, which would be good to play. Newport we haven't played in a long time. Morecambe could come up.
Ben Pringle, if Morecambe could Ben Pringle.
Ben Pringle potentially. Yeah, Kevin Ellison if Newport come up. Kevin Ellison's still going. I mean, what a story that'd be. Just talking that former Millenick. If Kevin Ellison gets promoted to League One, that'd be fantastic for him, wouldn't it? I mean, he's scored against us, obviously.
I'm going to say he'll come and score against us and all, won't he? Because he always does. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And I reckon I would say that probably by a week on Tuesday, I'll actually believe that.
Listen, that first game in September is going to be unreal.
August. I'm not waiting until September.
Yeah, that unreal.
You have to hope that we're going to be able to get a full stadium and what have you. That's got to be the next hurdle we're going to have to get over in it. So, but I'll be happy. I've had my second jab today, so I'm all right. I'm cured.
Yeah. No side effects then, Mick. Not yet.
No.
Okay, not like me then.
No.
Okay. Good.
What? Apparently, it sends you deaf.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
So I'm going to go through some thank yous to not necessarily to us guys, but to people who've helped. I think us fans through the season, getting involved. So it's mainly the people at club basically. It's all the people that have been on iFollow, the Matt Goodwins, Breckin, Les Payne, Sam Todd, who's also the media guy. I felt really sorry for him on Saturday having to do the commentary. Been that must have been really difficult. The groundsman Dave Fellows had a tough year with this ground this year, and he's done fantastically well. Into that pitch, it's the worst it's ever looked. But that's a compliment that it's looked that had that this season, because it generally looks a fantastic place to play football. The weather's been an absolute pig this year. Paul Davis, obviously advertiser. He's been the sort of link between the fans and the club and Paul Warner type of thing. He's done, as always, does a fantastic job through there. To the players, Richard Wood obviously has been a fantastic captain this year. All the players who've put 110% in every single game. The lone players who are here now, and we'll probably not see playing a Rotherham United shirt again. That's a shame, but good luck to all them. Because they've tried hard. The man who worked off for summer, and they've all tried hard at least.
100%.
As I always say, as a Rotherham United fan, all I want to see you do is willing to run through a brick wall for us, and that's what they would have done had asked. And the final thank you for me is just to Paul Warner and his staff, putting everything else. You effectively fanned it. That's, if I was a manager of the football club, that's how I would want to conduct myself. A role model, and I can't say much more than that. He is a role model as a human being, which you all look up to. Being that would conduct himself that way, I think is a pleasure and an honour to have him as our manager of our football club. Is the way I would put it. If you've got into any other mentions you want to, I've missed off the list there.
Just everyone you said.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. They've been immense. It's been a tough season for all the reasons that we've discussed. And they've always, well, not always, pretty much always given us 100%. There's been a couple of below par performances. I personally, I'd like to give a shout out to Jamal Blackman, to be honest with you, because he had a tough start to the season. He had a lot of criticism off the pitch, which I'm sure will have come to his attention. And yet, when he's got his chance to come back into the team, he's kept us in that relegation battle with some absolute world class saves. And he seems to have gained his confidence. He came beginning of the season, and it was clear to me anyway as an outsider, it looked like he was lacking in confidence after that really bad injury he had last season. But he's going to go back, hopefully, full of confidence, because that's the way he's played in these last few games. But then, I mean, you could pick every other player out as well and say similar sort of things. But I just wanted to give a shout out to him because of some of the grief that's been out there. Certainly the turn of the season, the start of the season. Yeah,
I'm with you on that one. Ben, anybody in particular? Are you just happy with the?
I've said everyone, man. Everyone that's been involved in that club.
Yeah, it's been the toughest season genuinely the toughest season since World War II from a football club point of view, as well as tough for everybody outside away from football as well. But the club have been fantastic throughout it. It could be worse. You could spot Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
so be careful what you wish for, as all I'll say for people who aren't happy with the way the club's run at the moment. Derby County looks set for a points deduction for next season.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for when you look at other clubs. So thank you this season, Benjamin. We've had a lot of fun this season. Me and you have argued a lot. You've upset a lot of people, but we always try. I think what we're putting up below. We always try to be honest, Ben, don't we? We just give us our honest opinion. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my honest opinion. Raw opinion, no filter.
Yeah, I could edit you out, but I choose not to.
Thank you.
Mick, thank you very much for all the help you put in live shows and stuff for the website. All the website that you'll see is all Mick's work. So if it's rubbish, complain to Michael. All the logo and stuff. Thanks. We should thank the guy who's done the logo for us, Richard Lax, my uncle. Has done the new logo. So thank you very much to Richard for doing that. Thank you everyone on Twitter and Facebook who's given us positive and negative feedback. We appreciate all the feedback, as long as it's constructive. And I think that's all I've got. I think that's all the thank yous I've got around. I've got no on paper, so I'm sorry that we're not bringing you a more positive end to the season. But what I can promise is that over the next couple of months, we will bring you some talks and some chats with some former players. There's just a matter of ironing out the fine details. We've got a couple lined up, as I keep promising. I think they're really good ones. And I hope they're going to be as enjoyable as they should be. So, yeah. Yes. And let's get back to New York. Thank you, Michael, for today, and thank you for the season.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Benjamin, thank you very much, mate. Cool. We'll see you all. I will keep an eye on the socials for as and when we'll be back. We will do a full review show for the season and an awards show for the season. They'll all be out in the next week or two. And then we'll keep in touch with the former player stuff as well. Auto Windscreen Shield final is also going to be coming. We're going to do a 25-year anniversary of that as well. So I'm rambling here. So we shall see you all very, very soon. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our Twitter, Facebook, everything like that. We'll see you all very, very soon for some more Rotherham United related nonsense. Cheers, guys.
Brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do